Doctor, you've been inquiring into life for some time now, in a way that seems significantly different than the traditional philosophical or religious approaches in both the East and the West. How did you come to this inquiry, if not through a guru or a particular set of techniques? And what is the nature of this exploration?
You know, when you try to express something through words, these words have a tremendous limitation. When you say without a guru, really I do not understand what you mean by without a guru. To me, the whole of life has been a guru. And to that extent, I don't think whatever I have inquired or whatever I am inquiring, I could do it in isolation. I could do it by myself sitting in some hilltop or somewhere. So, the question may have arisen again because of the interaction with the outside world. If I am living by myself, I don't think I have any problems. I would never have had any problems. The problem arose because I was interacting with the world. And the world around me was compelling me to go deeper into my life, into my way of thinking, my way of looking and acting. And obviously, with the limited information that you have, or the conditioning that is imposed on you by your environment, by your culture, that conditioning does not provide with the answer. Then you have to look. And when you look, the answer again comes from the world around you. From somewhere, because the same life which is throwing the challenge is the same life which is giving you the responses. Then I happen to be only one instrument through which the challenge and the response, they are being reflected. And now I cannot say whether there was a guru or there was no guru. If you see in a limited sense that some personal guru who could have kept on guiding me all my life, from moment to moment, to that extent there was no guru. But whenever I was in doubt, whenever there was any question, the answer did come. From somewhere, I don't know how it came, but it came. Whether it came from a book, whether it came from some word uttered by someone, whether I got intimation in some dream, but the answer was always there. And I don't think without this answer coming from the outside, I could have proceeded with my inquiry. And then, even if you look at this whole question of inquiry and discovery, I could say some 10 years ago, 15 years ago that I am inquiring and I am discovering something new. My feeling is the knowledge that is present with the collective human psyche is there. All the experiences of the race are there and they are available to all of us. And most of the answers come from their storehouse. And in one sense, I am discovering it for myself for the first time, but the answer perhaps pre-exists. So I don't know whether it's a new discovery or there is something old coming up. And how far I am separate from the whole of the collective, how far I am separate from the human race. Whether I am an individual or I am just carrying on what the collective human psyche has been carrying on. I am just the continuation of the human effort. The form may have changed, but I don't see how I could disconnect myself from people who have inquired in the past, the Buddha or Ramakrishna, Raman Maharshi or Aurobindo, anybody. How could I dissociate myself from them? And had they not gone into certain discoveries, had not gone into certain experiences, certain attainments, and that was not available to us, I don't think we could proceed further. So much of our inquiry begins where other people's inquiry comes to an end. We're just taking up the thread further. So that we don't repeat the mistakes of the history. We don't repeat the mistakes committed by the thinkers and the explorers before. To that extent, I cannot see, without that knowledge, without that data, I could have proceeded further. So, unfortunately, your question poses a dichotomy, that there is a guru or there is no guru. If you see from a limited standpoint, I can say I have no guru, in that traditional sense. But if I look to the whole of life, then whole of life has been providing answers. And I am seeing guru everywhere. But I don't think without these answers coming from somewhere, without this response coming from somewhere, we could proceed with the inquiry. This is the question coming from the divided human psyche, where you see yourself separate from the world. And when you see yourself separate from the world around you, then you want to know whether it's your inquiry or your discovery, you are with a guru or without a guru. To me, these questions are irrelevant. Now that life could take the form of a book, could take the form of a word heard passing on the road, could take the form of a person who embodies it in his life. And I don't see, if I learn from any particular source, how will it belittle the significance of that learning. And I have never said a guru is not necessary. Perhaps for most people guru would be necessary. Even in a personal form, guru would be necessary. For few, guru would not be necessary. People who can look to the whole of their life, they are not close to particular form, they are not close to certain approaches, and they are looking only to certain authorities for an answer. For those people, guru would be a must, because they cannot listen outside their framework, their image. However limited the listening may be through an image, most people will proceed from the image. Only some people who are open to the whole of life, then no guru may be necessary, when the whole of the life is giving the answers.
For those who do not go to a guru, for those who look to the storehouse of collective knowledge, how is that discovery made?
I don't think you have a choice. You see, when you say, I will not go to a guru, to me this is obstinacy. I think you can be only free of the guru when you go to some guru and you find it doesn't work. Then you can say the guru doesn't work. But without exploring it, without having your personal experience, because you've heard someone else and you say, look, I will not go to a guru, you're closing yourself to one aspect of life. The answer may be readily available next door. But in your life, you may look for a guru and you may never find. I think in my life I look for a guru. Not that I decided that I will never go to a guru. I was really desperately in search of a guru. And I wished that if I could have a guru, my inquiry, my process would be very short. The way I have learned in years and years of pain and sorrow and suffering, that could have been minimized. And so I wanted a guru. I prayed to God, please God, if it is possible, let me have a guru. But the answer was no. And I was very unhappy when I looked at people like Vivekananda or other people who had enlightened gurus, and how easy their life was and how am I struggling, I don't know anything. I try to read books, I try to listen to people and try to come to conclusions, and I don't know what is right and what is wrong. And you have to go through so much of toil and hard work. But then life perhaps did not intend it that way. So no guru came along. Or my questions were such they could not be answered by anyone with whomsoever I came in contact with. But I don't think you could choose that, look, I will not go to a guru or I will go to a guru. Even if you decide to go to a guru, you will never find one. It's not a matter of your choice. Because as far as I see, and it's the whole traditional understanding also in the East, that the guru cannot be found by just roaming about and going in search of a guru. Guru is not found that way. Only when you search around, go around, then it's a proof of your intensity, of your yearning, that's all. But not that you'll find a guru by roaming about and looking for a guru. Guru is something, an understanding of the heart, when you come to an understanding that you belong to here. When you come in contact with someone, and just by the mere presence, your questions come to an end. Your doubts come to an end. Not because you have been intellectually satisfied, not because some wisdom has been coming out of the lips of the guru or this person, but somehow or the other you come to a standstill, silence, and your intellect becomes silent. And your questions are answered just by the silence, no answer positively. Then you know that you are in the presence of the guru. But if you are stimulated by someone and you have exciting experiences, they can be coming from your projections. And then if you are basing your selection of a guru on the basis of your psychic experiences, when the psychic experiences wear off, you will change the guru. So guru to me is an energy where you become very, very clear-headed, very clear that this is the point where you have come to, this is what you are looking for. Not because you have gained something positive, but because the agitation and the quibbling of your intellect have come to an end, to have come to a rest. Most people, when they went to Ramana Maharshi, without much talking and anything, they used to have this experience, and they knew they are in the presence of the Guru. But Ramana Maharshi never claimed that he was the Guru. So it's not so much a question of somebody saying, I am the Guru or you are my Guru. It is not that. It is a relationship where there is an opening, where something is rent asunder. Somewhere is rent asunder. Your intellectual crust that you form around you of conditioning, it just cracks somewhere. That's the point that you are in contact with the Guru, whether it is from outside or inside.
Yet historically we can see that very, very few of these enlightened beings in the past were able to pass on a full understanding to those who were their disciples. They may have passed on certain experiences, but very few were able to pass on this full light. Why is that?
Passing of this understanding to another is not a matter of volition. It is not a matter of choice for the Guru or the enlightened one. Receptivity in the listener or the disciple is an important factor. My feeling is that the Guru and disciple really express two poles of the same energy. If the disciple does not have that matching intensity with which the Guru is imparting the understanding, impartation cannot take place. So perhaps the challenges in the past were such that most disciples were satisfied by a certain security which they could get from the Guru. And their inquiry ended there. And perhaps we would be doing the same thing if we did not have the experiences of the past with us available, how those movements failed, and how the challenges in our times have changed. The challenge of the time is not that there should be one Messiah or one Prophet or one Guru and thousands of followers. That's one another challenge. Because to my mind, following destroys intelligence. So whenever there is following, there is destruction of intelligence. The Guru-disciple relationship is not one of leader and a follower. The relationship between the Guru and disciple is of two people walking hand in hand, exploring and sharing life. Only with that intensity, when they are having the same matching intensity, then impartation can take place and then understanding can be communicated. So Guru or any enlightened man, the maximum that he can do is to keep his disciples moving, not letting them rest or stagnate, till they come to a point where they are really having the same intensity and passion which the teacher has. So I don't know, in the past maybe many gurus or enlightened beings had not gone that far because the challenge was different. You can come upon this energy and can rest anywhere and have the smug satisfaction of arriving at a goal. And then you cannot go past that, and you cannot take any disciple past that. The disciple cannot go past what the Guru has come to, unless the disciple makes a break. So impartation can take place provided the matching intensity is there, and anyone today who has some light, it is his responsibility to see that he does not create following, but brings about his disciples to a level of intensity where impartation can take place. It may be slow process, it may take time, it may be hard work. It is a hard work and a slow process. The quick way is to create a following, give them a mantra, give them a photo, give them to worship the name or the image, and do some chanting, and they will have some psychic experiences. But in that following, there is a destruction of intelligence. The energy is not carried further. This has happened in case of even people like, I think, even Aurobindo, who was very much passionately and intensely trying to bring the supramental consciousness on earth. But then, at a certain point, when he found the communication was so difficult, the disciples had to come to the Guru every day in the morning or at certain specific times to have his darshan and imbibe this energy and carry it further. In that process, it may be easy to communicate the energy, but at the same time you are enforcing certain images. You are enforcing some concepts of time and space. So whereas you are making it easy, you are also making it difficult that the energy is no longer pure. So a constant readjustment or shifting of your emphasis has to take place from the form to the formless. And can a Guru take his disciple from the realm of the form to the formless? To that extent is his success, is his achievement in impartation.